If you really think about it, this phenomenon of less is more is the reason people have started going minimalistic and downsizing to tiny homes.
Cheese. Okay, Russell, jump. Whoa, big jump.
Don't try to be the next Stephen King or imitate the Bible or the dictionary. My name is Lisa Shimkus, and I am a mom of two who went from teaching to lifing. I enjoy writing, reading, crafting, and learning. My channel is here to help you learn and grow through the use of books and writing, and to help you make your writing dreams come true. Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to A Writer's Corner. Today, we are going to discuss the writing tip, less is more. Before we do that, if you're an avid reader, chances are you write a lot. You enjoy expressing yourself in words, and chances are sometimes you may write too much. And there are consequences to this. I recently came upon the book Writing for Busy Readers by Todd Rogers and Jessica Lasky-Fink. One topic Rogers and Lasky-Fink wrote about is this idea of less is more. If you really think about it, this phenomenon of less is more is the reason people have started going minimalistic and downsizing to tiny homes. The satisfactions in life are the little things. And if you're a parent, it could literally be your children.
Okay, Russell, jump. Cheese. Okay, Russell, jump. Whoa, big jump. Okay, Elsie's turn. Yay, good job, Elsie.
And this applies to writing. Sometimes we may want to write long emails, blog posts, and never-ending stories in order to convey our messages more. However, there are some downsides to this. According to Rogers and Lasky-Fink, more writing takes more time to read and requires more concentration. Because of this, longer messages deter readers from engaging. In short, the more you write, the less engaged your readers become. Rogers and Lasky-Fink were able to prove this by conducting an email survey. They found that twice as many people participated in the email survey when their emails were shorter and more concise, in comparison to longer emails that request that folks take part in the same exact survey. It was a ratio of 4.8% to 2.7%. What does this mean for you? If you're working on a blog post or a manuscript, revise it and cut down your word usage. For example, you may start with "because of this" and change it to "therefore." Or, "they are a person who" can become "they," and "in the time frame of" can become "while." If you're responding to an email or a text message, simplify it. Let's look at an example. "Hi Sally, I'm so sorry, but I can't make it to dinner tonight. My mother just called and she needs help with yard work and moving furniture. She also needs me to take the dog to the vet. Again, I'm so sorry. Can we reschedule?" Can be revised to, "Sorry, another obligation has come up. Let's reschedule. I'll explain later." In other words, when you write a story, don't try to be the next Stephen King or imitate the Bible or the dictionary. If you're writing a text message or an email, keep it short and to the point. That way, your readers are more engaged. And note, this does not mean cutting down on descriptive words. This will actually make your writing quite bland. Instead, use precise words to convey your message. I highly suggest reading graphic novels to see how this is used. In conclusion, if you are an avid reader, you are a lover of words, and you may write too much. There are actually consequences to expressing yourself in too many words. Therefore, cut down on your word usage and use precise words instead to get your message across. Remember, less is more. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like another writing tip, watch this video here, and I'll see you there. Bye! When it comes to writing, how do you decide what to write about? It's a completely scary and daunting task, I know. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to A Writer's Corner. My name is Lisa, and I am a working mom with 2 kids. I was a teacher for almost a decade before making the switch to office work so that I could be a mom and have a peace of mind. I am also an aspiring writer, more so a frustrated writer, a blogger, and a content creator here on YouTube. It's a lot to juggle, I know, and that's why I created a writer's corner. It's a space for you and me to learn and write together as we juggle work, kids, and this overall thing called life. When it comes to writing, how do you decide what to write about? It's a completely scary and daunting task, I know. This could be writing a school paper, a speech, a script, a novel, the list goes on. However, it never dawned on me just how scary this could be for someone who doesn't like to write. I personally enjoy writing, so hence I can script videos and I blog. But I was talking to my younger sister about writing, and it dawned on me that, well, she doesn't like to write, and I even have coworkers who don't enjoy writing. And this had me thinking, why does writing come easily for me? What do I do that makes writing easy for me? And how can I teach it to such people as my sister, my coworkers, and someone such as yourself who struggles with writing? Here are my 5 tips to help you decide what to write about. 1. Generate ideas of interest. Always, always, always write about what interests you. Don't choose topics that bore you, as this will also bore your reader. And then this whole overall task of writing is going to feel more like a chore than a fun activity. One thing I enjoyed about English class in high school, and yes, I'm a nerd, was the freedom and flexibility to choose whatever topics I liked on the topic of writing. Say it was writing a persuasive letter. Well, the topics were pretty much open-ended. It could be the same for you. For example, if you're into the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, write a letter to your audience convincing them why they should read the series. If you're into painting, write about the effects of creating art and how this could benefit your reader. If you're into Pokemon cards, convince your readers why they should choose these decks of cards over other decks, such as Magic. And if you're not into these examples, that's okay. Come up with your own list that interests you. 2. Get rid of not so interesting topics. For yourself, that is. As much as we say we like everything when it comes to a specific topic of ours, that's not necessarily true. That's like saying I like all the Harry Potter books. Really, my personal favorite is Azkaban, book 3. And as for Phoenix, well, that was like my least favorite because Harry was just hormonal and angry all the time. That means if I were to use this in my writing and trying to convince somebody why they should read Harry Potter, I can actually eliminate books, 1 through 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I could just write about Azkaban. So when it comes to your writing, instead of thinking about writing everything, break it down to the more interesting topics, if not specific ones, according to you. 3. Conduct research. The term research here means many things. For instance, it could be experimenting, exploring, and investigating. However, before you start conducting a science lab or putting together a YouTube tutorial, think free and easy. One way to start conducting your own research is by reading about your topics of interest. You can go to the nearest local library or search up articles online. If reading is not your best friend, as reading and writing go hand in hand, then watch videos or listen to podcasts. The world of technology has made research so much easier for those of us who need information. We can actually obtain information on our smartphones and on TV. You can watch videos on your specific topic of choice through YouTube or go to your local library and check out videos. Same goes with podcasts and so forth. I personally enjoy YouTube and using Google, so those would be my go-tos when I conduct my own research. Before I continue with this list, I want to know down below in the comment box what has helped you generate ideas so that you can finish a piece of writing. Thanks for your comment. Let's move on. 4. Ask for help. If all else fails, ask for help. This could be a friend, a family member, even a teacher or a mentor. And if you have a therapist, ask your therapist. Personally, I have a hard time asking for help. However, when I'm struggling, that's when I know that I need to start asking for help. My friends and family and peers don't know that I need help unless I tell them. Same goes with you. Consider who you can ask for support from. Who is part of your trusted support group? And get the help you need from them. And 5, have someone else write for you. You didn't hear from me. Ever wonder why there are ghostwriters? Because the folks who need a written project done either don't have the time or they don't have the skills. And you're probably in the same boat. I suggest you ask a friend or family member who enjoys writing. And if you have the money, hire someone to do it for you. Just be sure to have an idea of what you want to write about and discuss this with your writer. Make notes and sketches together and be part of the whole writing process the whole time. This does not mean that you get to play video games or binge watch a TV show while they do the writing project for you. No, keep communication open, whether it be tossing ideas back and forth or editing in the writing process. Remember, this is your writing. If the writer does a poor job at it, you get the consequences, not them. I've personally helped family members write papers, but it's still their ideas that I'm putting down onto paper. And when they get the A's on their papers, I take the credit. To conclude here, if you have a writing deadline to meet, there are 5 things you can do in order to meet the deadline. In other words, don't go it alone and don't not do the writing. Instead, use these 5 tips to help you get started, and good luck. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe so that you get more videos like this in the future. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. And what can I do? Wait. If you're into painting, write about what effects of painting. What? Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to A Writer's Corner with me, Lisa. I'm an ex-teacher and writer, and in today's corner, we are going to be discussing how to finish a writing project. Now, this project may be your manuscript, your novel, a script itself, whatever it is you are working on, and we're going to be discussing how to complete that if you are neurodivergent. So what does it mean to be neurodivergent? Now, this word is used to describe people whose brain processes information differently, and those who have behavioral traits that would not be considered the norm. Folks who are on the autism spectrum, folks who have ADHD, or various other learning needs and disabilities. And of course, all of this is more of an umbrella encompassing a lot of different people with different learning needs. Think of it as folks who are your typical learners and your atypical learners. I like to think of it as kids who can sit in a classroom and listen to instruction all day, in comparison to kids who need to run around and play and touch and feel in order to learn better. I myself have undiagnosed ADHD, and to be honest, I've had it all my life, and I didn't have a name for it, nor did I understand what any of this was until I was nearing my 30s, and now my life makes sense. Plus, I see it in my kids. If you're questioning if you fall in this category, not that categories are bad, let me know if you can relate to these personal examples. You feel like you don't fit in at school and or work. You struggle in school, especially in subjects that are supposed to be easy. You constantly need movement or distractions. You go from one unfinished task to another, but you eventually complete them all. You are either extremely organized or extremely messy. You are a perfectionist. You hyperfixate on things such as what you could have said better in an earlier conversation, and your brain feels like it's always on the go. Don't worry if you're like me and you check off most of the things on this list. Nothing is wrong with you. You and I just process information differently. Our brains are wired differently. And hey, diversity makes the world a better place. I mean, would you rather be that person who works a boring robotic job that you hate, or somebody who wakes up and wants to be a better version of themselves yesterday, especially the person next to them? What? I challenge you to be the latter. Going back to our topic, how can someone who cannot focus nor learn like your typical group of people finish their writing project? Well, here are 8 techniques to help you start and finish your manuscript, especially if you are neurodivergent. The first thing to do is to make a to-do list. List all the tasks that you need to accomplish today and tackle them one by one, starting with the hardest and longest one. This is because once you have finished the hardest, longest task, the other tasks will feel like a reward. Physically check off each item as you complete them and then reward yourself in the end. You can have a lollipop, a movie, a nap, you name it. For me, it's having my husband grab dinner. The second thing to do is to get moving. If your writing task is to write for 1 hour, give yourself time in between to get up and stretch and get moving. You could also spend this time chatting with a friend, a pet, or your partner. Movement gives your brain a break so that by the time you return to your writing, you are set and ready to go, and of course, very refreshed. Other ways to incorporate movement is by changing up the scenery. Say you have an office in the house, change it up and go to the kitchen. Move to the dining table. Go outside. Write in the car. Write in bed. Or go to the coffee shop. Your brain will thank you. The third thing to do is to listen to music or other. I admit I can't write in an extremely quiet space. I need noise of some form. Therefore, I either have to be listening to music, a podcast, or an audiobook. If I don't do so, my brain will actually start creating noise on its own, and it's very distracting. Therefore, incorporate music or some other noise into your writing time. White noise machines or fans work great too. The fourth thing you can do is to body double. Body doubling is when you have someone else present while you are working on a task. Having someone else around motivates you to keep going, and you can both keep each other accountable. You can do this by either grabbing a friend or a family member, having a writing group, going to the coffee shop, or even the library. You don't necessarily need someone you know around you as you're writing. It just helps to have others around you because you'll stay motivated because, well, they're progressing too in whatever tasks they're working on. And that's the whole point of body doubling. Trust me, this is how I got done with college, and I never want to go back to school because it was extremely hard for me. The fifth thing you can do is to work on multiple projects. I admit this is something that I do as a writer. My brain can't stick to one topic or one big project at a time. I actually go from one to the other naturally. My brain comes up with multiple story ideas, scenarios, dialogues, blog posts, etc. So I just work on the one that's the most interesting and most motivating at that time. I also learned that this is something that James Patterson does to alleviate writer's block, and I couldn't agree better. If you find yourself struggling to start and finish your manuscript, I highly suggest that you switch to another one. And who knows, that one may be the one that you finish first. The sixth thing to do is to create an outline. Whether you are a pantser or a plotter, having an outline will ensure that you start and finish what you set out to do. This is because you are keeping yourself accountable with a physical outline. And this can be as easy as creating a plot diagram, a list of events, or a beat sheet. Now, I won't go over how to create all 3 of these because I've already made a video on that, so you can go watch that here. Again, an outline is to help you complete what you have set out to do. The 7th thing to do is to set a timer. Another way to keep yourself accountable is to set a timer. If you want to write for 15 minutes, set a timer. If you want to write for an hour, set a timer. Having a timer eliminates any guessing with time and also forces you to put something down on paper before the time runs out. This is also a great way to start a writing prompt, and if you find that you need more time, then give yourself more time. The 8th thing you can do is to give yourself a smaller writing challenge. If completing a full-length novel sounds too daunting for you, try something smaller. This could be a novella, a short story, a flash fiction, or even just a writing prompt. Completing these smaller challenges or projects will still make you feel highly accomplished in the end. Personally, this is how I recently completed 2 novellas. It started as a writing challenge, and I got it done in time, and I just published the first one, right there, and I'm in the midst of the second one. So of course, I feel highly accomplished, and I want you to feel the same way. So give yourself a smaller writing challenge. To see how the writing challenge went for me, see the description box below. In conclusion, those of us who are neurodivergent struggle to write consistently and to finish a writing project. To keep yourself motivated and to ensure that you start and finish your writing project, try these 8 techniques today. And if you have one that I did not list that works for you, list it in the comment box so that you can help other writers. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope that this list helps you. And if you need other writing inspiration, check out the videos here, and I will see you there. Until then, take care and have fun reading and writing. Bye! You finished your manuscript, so what? Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to A Writer's Corner. My name is Lisa. I'm a mom of 2 who made the switch from teaching to library work so that I could have time for my children as well as be creative. I use this channel to educate you on all things writing and self-development. So let's get started. Today's video is a writing tip using the So What test. When it comes to improving our writing, we're constantly looking for writing tips and advices. And authors are a great source to go to because they've been playing with this art form for many years. Many of them even paste their writing tips right into their books. I admit, however, as a mom with 2 little ones, I don't have a lot of time to read. And sadly, reading and writing go hand in hand. This is when audiobooks, short articles, and short stories come in handy. One quick but informative book I was reading is called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Or is it Cleon? I'm so sorry. In chapter 3 of his book, he suggests the So What test. And this So What test, I feel, is highly applicable to writing. So in this video, we're going to see what this So What test is and see how to apply it to your writing. To begin with, what is the So What test? The So What test is simply a question you ask yourself as you think about what work or progress you want to showcase to the world. Kleon recommends this test because in today's world of technology, once you choose to share something online, you can't remove it. It's now public property, and anyone or everyone who has access to what you've shared, well, they can now see it all. Even if you delete it, it's now in the cloud data, and anyone can pull it back out to view or repost. So before you hit that share button on your social media account, ask yourself, so what? How does this test apply to writing? So what is a vital question to ask yourself as you finish that manuscript of yours or think about sending that small tweet, now known as X. Not only should you ask yourself if your public post, comment, or manuscript is shareable, but what message, theme, or lesson do you want your readers to take away from all of this? In other words, is your writing informational or educational? And least but not last, why should your readers care? You've written a manuscript. So what? As you work on your school paper, short story, or novel, even your memoir, ask yourself, so what? Why should someone read your writing, and what lesson are you trying to convey to them? If you can't answer this question fully, then go back to your writing and do some revising. You may even need to go back to middle school or high school or college and revisit your writing classes. Recall how to write a 5-paragraph essay with an introduction paragraph and theme, 3 bodies of evidence, and a concluding paragraph. And once you've revised your writing, test it out on an actual reader. Read it to a friend, your partner, or teddy bear. If they can understand what your writing is all about and what the message is, go ahead and share it. In other words, go ahead and publish it. But if they feel that it's not ready, or you feel it's not ready, then set it aside as a draft and come back to it later. In conclusion, as you work on a piece of writing, give it the so what test. Ask yourself if your writing is worth sharing, because once shared, you can't unshare it. Also ask yourself why it is your readers should care about what you've produced. What lesson, message, or theme do you want your readers to take away from your writing? If you can answer these questions with self-assured confidence, then your work is ready to be shared with the world. And if it's not, save it as a draft and keep it aside for later. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before I go though, comment below. Why should a reader care about your writing? So what? Thanks once again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.